Bitte.
Quality of wins. More than really.
You say that until you're caught in the bear trap, and then you just want to get out. And that's what both of them want to do. So let's go ahead and get into it here. The draft is already underway with Varus, Anivia, and Jarvan banned out by Shopify Rebellion as Sentinels go ahead and ban out the Orianna, Karma, and
Ryze first pick, Anivia raus. Lushmilo ist offen, Rumble ist offen, Alarm. Und Darkwing spielt auch Cassio, by the way, Friendo. Sind wir uns hier sicher, dass wir Ryze first picken wollen?
Does make a lot of sense, but I am curious to see, are we going to get Seraphine here for Sentinels, or are you willing to give that up?
Caitlyn Bart, Lushmilio offen, Seraphine offen. Nur Kammer gebannt. Wieder aus dem Bunker, ja.
We're going to be getting Huhi Bard instead, which is obviously a pick. We talk about how much Huhi loves to roam around the map, affect other lanes. Him and Rahel are never where they're supposed to be according to their opponents. Bard does absolutely help him do that.
And I really like taking the Bard early when you see Ryze on the enemy team. Since Ryze has Realm Warp, you know he likes to play sides. Bard is a champion that can really heavily facilitate sides. He likes to roam a lot. Taking that away from the other side, I like it a lot. And they'll go ahead and lock into Cassiopeia, a very traditional answer, if not counter anymore, to the Ryze.
Yeah, definitely not a counter as much, but I will say the matchup did get a lot better with the removal of Phase Rush. So that is something that does kind of put a wrench in the gear, because people have just gotten so used to this matchup from the Ryze side, where when you got Miasma...
Ja, er spielt Cassio, erneut angesprochen. Da kommt die Cassio. Er will was? Er will Seraphine? Er will Nami. Oh, er will Nami, oder? Well, ist es das klassische... Ist es das klassische B-Boy Ezreal Game, oder was gehen wir? Was am wohin Rated aktuell ist? Nee, nicht so eine Wüste. Nee, eine Wüste.
And Nico Ezreal going to be the answer. So Seraphine actually going to go untouched here through this first game.
I saw a clip the other day of Keria cosplaying a Gromp with Nico.
This was
so
fun.
I wonder if we're going to get another Jungle Monster cosplay here this time around.
When I saw that, all I could think of was the Sven quote of when there's a second cannon that Berserker doesn't think about Nico being the cannon. He thinks, oh, two cannons.
Ja, keine Bart. Endgültig. Die Lane hier verliert jedes Game zusammen in der LCK. Dieses Combo hier verliert jedes Game in der LCK.
Oh boy, two Gromps.
Caitlyn now locked in for Rahel, so we have Caitlyn Bard going into...
Sind sauer noch untouched. Sind sauer besser für die hier.
It is actually a really nice setup. Obviously less traditional than, you know, the Lux Caitlyn and those style of lanes that we have seen in the past, but
die können auch Weich spielen, theoretisch, wenn sie wollen. Die können auch Skarner spielen, wenn sie wollen. Skarner-Ban hier, oder? Oder preppen die für ein Top-Lane Blind? Die müssen für Top-Lane Blind preppen, actually, right? Heißt, kann sein, dass wir jetzt hier Vayne-Ban sehen. Actually, er spielt keine Vayne, das ist Impact. Moment.
Yeah, Sentinels believers, you've got a good one there locked in on the third pick for Sentinels, but let's get into the second half of the bans as neither side has their jungler, neither side even has something that's going to flex towards jungle, so it's Lee Sin and Pantheon banned out.
And I'm most curious here to see if Shopify are going to pay that Skarner tax, because regardless of composition, I just feel like this isn't necessarily something that you want to put in the hands of Hambach, considering how good he's been on it, whether it is actually making plays with his lanes or getting key prio catches onto high priority targets. We also see the Nefiri removed for contracts and the Lee Sin, two things that we've seen him have success on. And more generally,
Rahel oder Karo, wer wird die bessere Caitlyn zocken? Wow, es ist sehr, sehr schwer, besser als Karo zu sein. Sinzao is an obvious one. Sinzao is an obvious one.
Jose has been doing really, really well on it. And sometimes when someone is smurfing on stage, everyone's like, huh, maybe this pick is good.
Well, ja, und ich wurde für den Top-Lane Blind gepreppt mit Banzer, also, ja. Oh, Skarner.
And there is the
Hambach Klassiker.
He has been owning on this pick. I feel like he is the best.
Ja, das Rolling, wenn du jetzt Skarner reinpickst, ist nicht super gut.
3-0, so you have the undefeated 3-0 Caitlyn, the undefeated 3-0 Skarner. You're giving them some pretty good picks here.
Yeah, the Skarner getting locked in, you saw the overall stats for it at the bottom. 3 wins, 3 losses. If you're Hambach, you win on Skarner. If you're not Hambach, you lose.
Even better news, Bard also undefeated for Huhi, and Cassio has yet to be played. So they don't have a single champion that they have lost on so far this split on the Sentinels side. So that's sounding like it's a pretty good draft for them.
Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. Over on the
Sieht aus wie Scheiße.
Skarner's one of the champions in League of Legends that loves
Sieht aus wie Scheiße.
the most. One of the only other ones that wants to stack.
So, und jetzt packen wir den Ang bitte auf Ohren.
Locked in for Shopify.
Ang bitte auf Ohren. Keiner am besser. Ohren oder Cassante. Ohren oder Cassante für den Ang.
0% win rate on the Rise, 0% win rate on the Ezreal.
Super.
In fairness, each of these teams only
Free win für Sentinel, sage ich.
last week, Shopify actually hadn't had any
Free win für
series go. A full 3
Free win für Sentinel, sage ich.
All 2-0.
Which makes
So,
it even more
I'm not-
impressive that Sentinels has all these champions they're undefeated on. And Cassante has yet to be played, so they haven't lost on a single one of these champions this split.
And
I
this
think
is
you
the
need to go
first
into
time.
politics. You've got an
Yeah,
incredible
this
skill
is great.
for
Also,
saying numbers.
we've been
It's kind of
asking.
cool though.
We've been asking, okay, when does Impact pull out the Cassante, the Scion, the Ornn? The answer is when playoffs are absolutely
must-
Dum,
on
dum,
the
dum,
line.
dum, dum, dum. Ja, kompletter Free win für die Sentinels Boys.
Back here, bro.
Damage Share hier ist auch komplett fucked, wenn der Ezreal nicht hätte. Also entweder muss B-Boy trägt hier entweder 4 Cops über die Ziellinie oder wird nichts.
That he was talking about, yeah, Impact is not playing these picks. He's not playing these stock standard tanks. We know he'll be able to play them when he needs to, so we're kind of
Exactly.
experimenting. Well, okay, now he needs to.
Hat Sentinels genügend Damage für den Mundo? Haben sie. Cassio super high DPS, Caitlyn super high DPS. Rachel ist auch eine sehr gute Caitlyn.
Cassante's the play.
All right,
Yeah,
important
damage.
here for you, Flowers. Being the Skarner expert here, are you?
Skarner aspect sounds even cooler.
There you go, the
Yeah.
aspect
The
of Skarner.
aspect of Skarner. Congratulations.
Thank
You have a new
Do
title.
you prefer the Skarbok or the Homner?
Wow, that second one made me feel icky. Let's do
Yeah,
the
I
first
think we
one.
go
Skarbok. We're going with Skarbok.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Skarbok for sure.
Yeah, Hamner sounds weird.
You
No,
know, like the Homner.
No, we're not.
You come up with
No.
such cursed portmanteaus.
Yeah, man,
for
I
things.
don't
It's insane.
know what that. I don't know.
I was leaving the options open. You know,
Let's do the first
You
one.
did
being the
give him a
Skarner
choice.
aspect, you get to decide.
I'm gonna go with Skarbok on this.
Und scheinbar die Ulti back up. Die sind gut. Ja, mal gucken.
All right, the Skarbok's got his.
He needs his nickname, you know? He's
Yeah.
undefeated.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see if
And
he can
they-
stay undefeated.
Schaust du heute UFC? Auf gar keinen Fall. Das ist zu spät.
Kind of crazy.
Auf gar
how
keinen
both
Fall.
of these teams are at 1-4. I feel like we've always looked at Shopify. I think all of us and most people on the broadcast team had Shopify predicted in the bottom 2, if not 2, definitely bottom 3 of the league. Why Sentinels was also the entire time kind of a dark horse for a lot of people.
Er geht, fliegt auf
Yeah,
Caitlyn. Habe ich es nicht gestern erst angesprochen? Ich
it's
glaube, gestern oder
definitely
vorgestern.
Sentinels because of how other players have talked about this team. We're going to go through a whole bunch of quotes on the bottom here from pros in terms of how people see or perceive Sentinels as a much better team than 1-4, right? Like Isles was actually shocked to learn they were 1-3 in his pros episode. And they've really been praised for how well they work together
Yep.
as a team, right? Like when Sentinels are making a decision, it seems like all of them have an idea of what they want to do with that play. Whether it's a good decision or a bad decision, you can then decide, but they are all on the
coherent.
same page in the way they move around the map.
Exactly. I mean, I do think it is relevant that all of these pros think they are a top-level team. And they just have not been able to convert it on stage.
Well, now's the time. Again, you know, you've only got 7 games in regular season since it's a single round robin in a league of 8 squads. So, you know, 1-4, that's a rough record. Sentinels really have to make sure they convert everything.
Haben wir schon mal gesehen, diesen Proxy.
Playoffs.
Da war es gegen den Rumble mit First Strike, um eben das First Strike Goldfarmen zu denyen.
Victories they had
They were
in
free.
split 1, right? Like finishing third overall really wasn't what people expected from them. They were like, oh, okay, maybe this roster is a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of coming together from where they started to where they finished as contracts.
Yeah, contracts in the bottom lane here. Huhi and Rahel trying to get away. Magical Journey. They managed to escape, but it does cost the heal there from Huhi. However, on the other side, Seos used his flash only to miss the Tangle Barbs. So despite the fact that it's Shopify who commit their jungler for the gank, it's also Shopify who end up with less resources.
Yeah, and Hambach is going to be able to clear out that Scuttle Crab, potentially do a little wraparound gank of his own.
Oh boy, this Garbach.
No flash, no flash on Seos. This could actually really work.
Okay, Hambach's found his way around. Oh, nice use of the clone there. Seos dropping that one off as just sort of the sacrificial lamb there for Hambach to drag back towards the middle of the lane as he escapes.
Yeah, nice little attempt from Hambach and nice escape.
Weiß nicht, ob ich, also in der Theorie ist dieses Basen vor der Crab natürlich fein. Problem ist nur, wenn du jetzt nichts daraus machst.
Something we've kind of talked about with both of these junglers. Hambach had stated previously that he doesn't care what other junglers feel about him, but he wants laners to fear him and kind of not expect that he might be there. So a nice little attempt, especially after being able to secure that bot side scuttle.
I like that idea as a jungler. I don't care.
Weil ich sage, er bekommt ja jetzt keinen Counter-Invade hin, right? Auf dem zweiten Clear.
And I want it to be a negative gaming
and I want them to fear me.
and you want Sentinels players to look confident. We actually had a quote from Huhi where he's talking about, the difference between their online play, their scrims and their online tournaments versus LCS. And he says, I can only put it on nerves, right? And you have to be able to try to fight through that. You have to be able to play with confidence. If that is what is working for you in practice and online, you need to bring that same level to the LCS stage, and that is what he thinks they have been struggling with here on these stage games, because this is a team that pros will tell you they think is the top team in the LCS, and then you look at the standings, they're 1-4. They're close to missing.
Krieg ich Probleme, wenn ich deine ACW in Q-Restreaming LCS? Ja, höchstwahrscheinlich schon. Aber ich weiß nicht, ob es ein Auto-Detection-System gibt. Das weiß ich nicht. Das weiß ich nicht tatsächlich, aber ja. Kannst flippen. Worst case bekommst du einen Strike. Easy.
Again, really nice little look there from Huhi, from Hambach, and now Rahel should be able to take over kind of this bot side. And again, really nice revisiting Seos. He is this flashless Nico being able.
Einer ist quasi keiner. Ja, siehst du? Ich habe irgendwie habe ich noch keinen Strike bekommen.
Sometimes, and also how him and Huhi work well together to come up with these creative angles.
Absolutely. I mean, and you're playing Bard Skarner, right? You have Ishtal's Impact and Magical Journey. Yeah. There you go.
Barner.
And Barner. It's a barn burner. And you can go through walls. You can come from these angles that they're not really ready for. And you can see Hambach is crossing back. They want to try to contest this.
Okay, Dragon down to about half HP. Shopify backing away, eating a couple of apples, knocking away a control ward here. Teleport back up into the top side. Impact has decided to TP back to top, so that means that Sentinels will not have him available to try to join in a fight here. Might just look for a potential pick instead. Contracts does have the canister. Still has to flash, though, as that Mundo is not very tanky, still only level 5.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Mundo, the canister pretty effective against Skarner, but as you get to the later levels, once you have Impale, you can hit him with Ishtal's Impact, instantly pop that off, and then Impale him right after and pull him into a trap, pull him into...
Haben Sie schon geguckt, aus oder nicht? Oder sehr schwierig 1K Gold Lead? Hammer geht für Hardstyle. Sehen wir selten. Sehen wir fast gar nicht mehr, in fact.
1-2 punch of CC that you're expecting to be layered.
Yep, and that does mean, again, Rahel and Huhi should be able to take over this bot side of the map, and Hambach is here to contest.
Ist sie schon auf der Bastards? Nein, das ist zweites Series. Casey der MK Game 3 gewonnen. Casey.
Both of our competitors are pretty low on health and mana. Zinni has a little bit more to work with. Darkwing's probably going to take a recall here. Teleport not available for Darkwings. Also, one interesting thing we need to comment on, since I didn't mention it at the start of the game. The lack of phase rush that you mentioned earlier, Isaac, leads a lot of Rises to just default.
Es wird noch schlimmer, willst du mir sagen? Ja, natürlich. Die zwei wahrscheinlich schlechtesten Teams der Liga spielen danach. Aber das ist gar noch kein Halo Blades, der checkt noch die Wave noch nicht.
Yeah, also in a way that you might not necessarily expect, right? Because the way they talk about it is like, oh, Rahel gave up this wave to be somewhere else on the map, right? Like, Huhi left lane really early to go be somewhere else on the map. And then it's if they're getting that trade-off in kills and objectives, it sets up the Sentinels team really well.
Going to be looking for where Hombach uses his first all. Contracts a little bit behind as far as the farm is concerned, and down that flash could be problematic. But, you know, Sentinel's doing a good job. They've built this slow advantage here, up 1K. Rahel with the call scaling. I feel like they are super happy with the pace of this game.
Spielt 1-4-Score nicht das Niveau der beiden Teams jetzt wieder? Nö, würde ich nicht sagen. Ich finde, Sentinels ist an sich nicht schlecht. Ich glaube, die haben nur die Quintessenz von ihrem Team noch nicht so ganz verstanden. Die Quintessenz ist, also okay, erstmal haben die gegen die 3 Top-Teams gespielt bisher. Die haben gegen C9, Team Liquid und gegen Lion schon gespielt. Das heißt, Strength of Schedule war jetzt nicht in deren Favor und sie haben für Impact teilweise noch keine Tanks gedraftet. Ja. Kannst du deinen Recap für den Pick der Woche mit uns teilen? Okay. Okay.
Gets finished off, and there's the impale.
That's exactly what you were talking about earlier, Isaac. You just drop the
Ja, die werden umgerannt. Das wird 2-0. Das wird ein 2-0. Facewash wurde rausgenommen. Das ist Storm Raiders. Also, nein, das ist nicht Facewash. Facewash wurde aber rausgenommen. Das ist Deathfire Touch. Die alte Rune, wenn du dich erinnerst, wurde wieder reingebracht. Statt Facewash gibt es, also die kommen einfach so neu dazu. Statt Facewash gibt es jetzt aber Storm Raider Search, was auch wieder reingebracht wurde. Aber eine Runde, die ein wenig universell schlechter ist. Aber also mehr nischig einfach ist, weil Facewash halt super OP ist. Kenn ich nicht lang genug gespielt. Okay, ist einfach eine Dot-Rune quasi. Du applyst das Spell, machst damit Dot-Damage, reapplyst du das innerhalb von 3 Sekunden, ne? Reapplyst du das, machst dann prozentual mehr Damage.
And unfortunately for him, that means he does go down and uses the ultimate as well.
Ooh, attempted flash, third and Tofo strike from Impact, but a response flash from Fudge is fast enough to get him away from danger. Sentinels did have Huhi rotating up towards the top. Hombach also right beside him, excuse me. As Contracts has already claimed 1 grub, looking to take out the next 2 here. There's the second. Yeah, Huhi's going to try to be annoying, but he can't really do anything about it. So all 3 grubs for Shopify.
Yeah, and Huhi, his only chance was trying to contest one that didn't have smite for, but since he didn't actually have to use that smite, and obviously the finishing power of Mundo is definitely higher than that of Bard, but Rahel?
Yeah, Rahel's going to get Pop Blossom. Pop by that, a lot of burst.
Geht er seinen Fleet-Proc durch? Die Ulti-Flash ist wahrscheinlich am Leben. Die S-Ulti.
And that's a pretty tough death, I think, for Rahel. He's playing up pretty far in that lane without regard to what Seos was doing, especially since Huhi had gone topside to harass at Grubs, but also to try to make a play onto Fudge with Impact.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when Huhi shows on the other side of the map, you've got to be really careful if you don't know where Seos is, and that's a death that Rahel will want back. Luckily for him, though, the kill did go to the Nico and not the Ezreal. So, you know, yeah, gold is always going to be useful, period, but still going to be pretty happy that that's not double buffs and a shutdown on the team.
Yeah, exactly. And post that, Sentinels were actually able to pick up that first Drake. It is a little bit late in terms of like actual Drake stacking, especially with scaling options kind of on both sides of these teams. So there's been a lot of, it felt prior to this, there was a lot of bot lane kind of skirmishes and river skirmishes, but no one to take the Drake, and so Sentinels will be able to pick that up despite...
Wie wäre davon klar spielen? Hallo. Hex-Optics first bei Rachel.
1,500 gold lead. Multiple minutes until the next neutral objective comes up on either side of
Ja, unsicher, ob ich Heartsy first mag. Ich finde Protoplasm einfach ein besseres Ding. Heartsy noch ein Ding? Ja, okay, ich wollte gerade ansprechen, ja. Ist bestimmt noch ein Ding. Kommt noch an, wie oft du es applyen kannst. Ich sehe hier in einem Team realistisch 2 Targets, auf denen du es regelmäßig blocken kannst. Im Teamfight mal sehen. Vielleicht irre ich mich. Shopify hat das? Nee, haben sie nicht. Ich sehe es noch nicht. Erneut, normalerweise Shopify gewinnt Games, in denen B-Boy die ein Game durchzieht. Ob es jetzt mit Corki oder Ezreal ist. Letztes Caitlyn-Game von Rachel war aber ein 50-Minuten-Banger gegen Team Liquid, den sie gewonnen haben, weil der komplett gesmurft hat. Also schauen wir mal.
It's just kind of get more gold onto your carries, despite the fact that you know, the early laning phase might not have gone how you want it. And here's Contracts topside.
Yeah, Contracts making a lane gang towards Impact here. The Cassante staying alive for now.
Sind wir serious?
Incredibly low on HP, tries to go in after Fudge, but cannot do it. Impact. I know that everybody understands the Cassante moment, the amazing turnaround, but it felt like he was just such low health before he
Okay, nächstes Mal on.
Yeah, I was shocked he even tried to go all out. I thought he was just going to retreat back to Hanbach and and he just
morgens die Line gegen FlyQuest und danach Line gegen Team Liquid. Morgen sind die guten Games. Also die actually sehr guten Games. Die Top-Tier-Teams spielen gegen morgen gegeneinander. Wow, eingeflasht da. Schaut die behind. Rachel hat noch da bis Samstag gleich, also beziehungsweise hat jetzt Flash up.
Their duo has to get all the way away. That is double flash.
Emergency Roam Top Lane. Ja, schaut, Cassante ist gut. Wie viel Uhr circa? 22 Uhr hinein gegen FlyQuest. Und dann kommt es drauf an. Zwischen Mitternacht und 1 Uhr Line gegen TL. Ich glaube, sie warten für die zweite Series. Wann? Heute oder morgen?
And is just going to continue laning down on that bot side. So really nice stuff here from Shopify. And back to that.
Heute Hölle, nein.
Contracts has been so important for this team.
Morgen, das kommt drauf an, was du am Montag vorhast. Irgendwas Wichtiges? Nein.
That playmaker for the team.
The Poppy game.
Exactly, the Poppy game. He also had like a 7-1 Pantheon game that they lost.
Sie haben keine Grubbies, also hier bist du dir sicher, dass du so traden willst? I don't know, Kevin. Schule ist aber eh unwichtig. Schule ist definitiv nicht unwichtig, weil du musst mir irgendwann mein Leben finanzieren, du Vollidiot. Stell dich in der Schule an, also geh ins Bett. Kannst dir auch das VOD anschauen. Ist nicht so deep. Jetzt bald auch Best of 5. Ja, Playoffs starten. 30. ist Samstag, also am 23. Mai. 23. Mai starten die Playoffs.
I actually really did like what Sentinels did, overloading this bot side, getting Rahel's Caitlyn onto this turret is kind of exactly what you want to do.
Du schreibst nicht die Idee, Fnatic, du nämlich auch.
Now he has a very cool like 1k gold lead up over B-Boy.
Oh, there's the tempered fate, the trap right underneath of the rumble. Rahel and Huhi going in
sexy, Mann.
trying to get some revenge for that early
Sexy, ganz in Turret bekommen wir jetzt nochmal.
And it's a high caliber round at point blank range. Rahel's gonna take that one as the true shot barrage into the bottom lane. That's twice now. The true shot barrage has landed, but not quite enough damage.
And with the tower shot coming in first, I was like, well,
Morgen nicht Sonntag, ich gehe sehr stark davon aus, dass morgen irgendwelche Blumenläden offen haben werden, oder nicht? Wegen Muttertag. Das wäre so eine Missed Opportunity für die.
Into binding, into 90 caliber net for another headshot reset, into another trap. So that is pretty nasty stuff. He's getting so many headshots off onto Fudge, and even with the overheat, Fudge made it close, but Rahel walks away with another kill, got first tower gold, got all those minions, and denied a bunch from Fudge. Now he's up 2K.
Yeah. He's in a great spot. And now, again, they're going to set him up mid lane. They're going to try to get him on that outer ring of turrets, as you want to do with the Caitlyn. And they
Auf der Tankstelle, jo, lass mal 40 € für einen Blumenstrauß zahlen, der aussieht wie 10 €. Aber I guess, wenn es Notfall ist, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Wir werden sehen, mehr für Sentinels. Wir mögen Rachel.
Going to happen here for Shopify. Sentinels up 2 dragons to nothing, up 1,000 gold over Shopify. Granted, Shopify does have both of the top side neutral objectives with all 3 grubs plus the Rift Herald.
Dein Pick Potential auf die Ketten ist sehr limitiert, vor allem jetzt mit Mika als Rush. Bedeutet, wir reden hier realistisch von einem Seos Nico Play mit einer Potenzial, also Ryze Ulti Potenzial.
Sentinels are cruising right now, all the gold right where you want it. And you can say, yeah, it's only the second dragon, we'll challenge it the next. But the problem is going to be, Rahel will have Infinity Edge as he just completes now. The Caitlyn is going to be ridiculously strong, especially on 3 items, is where a lot of these crit marksmen really come online. And when you have fed carries...
Denkst du, Sentinels hat irgendeine Chance, würden sie zur MSI fahren würden? Nein, natürlich nicht.
Going for the turret dive, Darkwings in a 1v3, Pop Blossom coming in, early petrifying gaze from Darkwings as he tries to...
Ja, der East leider cool. Oh mein Gott, er macht so viel Zeit. Oh mein Gott, er holt viel Zeit raus.
Meanwhile, back over between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 turrets in the mid lane. Sentinels tries to make their own play.
Warum TP't der jetzt Bottom behind? Der dumm. Warum TPst du jetzt behind, Ankh? Was machst du, Brother?
They will escape. And it looks like, okay, the Herald's gonna die before he gets a second charge.
I feel like that TP was really weird from Impact. He could have TP'd the whole time on that dive.
Ja, ergibt keinen Sinn.
Darkwings made so much time there. He was surviving.
Also er TP't halt in dem Moment, in dem seine Wave crasht. So, warum?
TP that late and get nothing feels pretty rough because he could have easily saved his mid laner if he just TP'd early.
Going in after Seos. Trying to make sure that they grab the kill here.
Alter.
Wait, Hambach turned around? Wait.
He got juked. I think he thought the other one. He thought he was, pretending with the clone and running the clone to the
Leute.
and then going right. So
okay, well,
versucht's wenigstens.
Fair play to Seos then, because they.
Ey, dieser ganze Turret ist weg. Du bist so disgusting, Impact. Du bist so schlimm, ey. Jede Woche aufs Neue überzeugst du uns davon.
Yeah, you always chase the one that's going to escape.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely an oopsie from Hambach. Nice play from Seos. I think kind of does juke him out, but should have been a kill for sure.
It's one of those plays that when you're the Nico and you make that play, you're like, this shouldn't work. It'll work maybe 1 out of 20 times, but I'm going to try it anyway because the only other option is I'll die. And hey, 1 out of 20. There you go.
Oh mein Gott, 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 nein.
Very low, about 350 left here on the bar. True shot barrage.
Hambach tried to flash predict where B-Boy was going to shift. He flashed Ishtal's impact, and B-Boy shifted the other way. So he just flashed on air basically for him. And that is now flashed down for Hambach.
It doesn't happen with Old Skarner. Old Skarner, you just flash ult them. It's not going anywhere.
True.
Yep.
So I didn't realize your vendetta against New Skarner.
I don't have a vendetta against New Skarner. I like New Skarner. I just miss Old Skarner because I spent a decade with him.
I like New Skarner, but I love Old Skarner.
That's unironically,
you're that X-Men meme, like stroking the picture of the Old Skarner.
He's got a special place in my heart.
Look, man, the new one's not purple, all right? It's important.
He's trying his best.
Fuck my life.
Look, you can put a purple chroma on it.
That's true. That's what you got to do. I'm sad more pro players don't use purple chromas. But we still do have a 4-3 game. We still do have Sentinels up about 2,000 gold. Remember that their largest lead so far this game was about 3K. So Shopify have done a good job of making sure that Sentinels don't continue building leads.
Yeah, and I think it was the Sentinels' response that seemed a little disjointed, right? Like that TP from Impact, like you already pointed out, Isaac was really weird. Even though Darkwings did buy a lot of time, that bought Sentinels some time themselves, got them that turret, got them a lot of more vision control than they've had in this game down on the bot side. So with
Skarner Support, I mean, heute Morgen sah es solid aus. Kann man Skarner mit hier anflächen? Nein.
They should be looking to kind of push this wave out. Fudge is already on it. And try to get some vision down to contest this Drake stacking.
I'm a little bit worried for how Contracts is going to deal with Rahel, because obviously Spirit Visage, very, very good on Mundo. You know, there is a Cassio that you have to deal with.
IQ-Check bei Rachel.
The super fed member.
Kriegen wir Mortal Miner oder kriegen wir einen Lord Dominix?
And he already has the Last Whisper. So you're always going to be behind the pace of this carry at this point of the game. You can start working towards the Deadmans or whatever, but he's going to be on LDR before that's done.
And I feel like that's the way that stats generally scale between carries and tanks. Tank stats are stronger as a baseline, but carries have more stats they can invest in. They all multiply off of each other, and once the carry hits that 3-item point that you're talking about with the big armor penetration, it's like, okay, well, my gold is less than your gold now.
Yep, can't catch up.
Scaling gut, weil Range gerade Support sind. Well, ist einfach ein Lame Bully. Also ja, auf jeden Fall zählen Range Supports damit rein, ja. Warum gibt's wieder solche Games? Weil ich der Goat bin. Und mein Leben so langweilig ist, dass ich eh nichts Besseres zu tun habe, als hier samstags und sonntags um 22 Uhr zu sitzen. Also ob ich es jetzt on-stream oder off-stream mache, macht keinen Unterschied. Noch Fragen?
Hambach, though, at about 60% HP. This isn't where you want your Skarner to be. Seos on the approach here from the side. There's the equalizer. Hambach staying alive for now.
Hätten wir nur ein Protoplasm, ha?
Down to 200 HP. The Skarner is about to die. Hambach stays alive for now, but he cannot participate in any sort of a fight. And Shopify secures themselves the stoppage for the Drake stack.
Nicely done by Shopify, but I gotta say, the setup was not good from Sentinels there. Like, look at that trap line. What is that stopping, right? You know, they just showed up late to the objective. You want the trap line across one of these entrances, and then you want it to be, if they try to filter through, Miasma is there as well. And then they're having to try to walk through Tempered Fate. They're having to try to walk through Cosmic Binding. They're having to try to walk through Petrifying Gaze.
Stimmt, ich habe mir auch jede Woche die scheiße SK-Games gegeben. Actually. Facts. Also der zieht nicht.
And they were already getting poked out. out. So Sentinel's setup for the objective was just not good, and Shopify was good enough to be able to push them out, even without killing off Hambach. They are going to be able to stop that stack.
It's also kind of weird though, because
Fort Posture Check, warum? Mir geht's gut.
onto that, right? Like they TP'd the
Mir geht's gut hier unten.
in specifically to try to set up.
Zweite Series ist Dignitas gegen Disguise, das sogenannte Battle der Bastarde in der LCS.
In the mid lane, and now we have a pause, so we'll have to see what
was?
is about.
Put your egg rolls in the microwave. Put them in.
I don't have a microwave here.
Yeah.
Should I go home?
This guy saying that like, oh, I'm saying it's good. Yeah, it's a perfect posture, buddy. Leave me alone.
Egg rolls here. Should I go to the store?
Wie lief Solo Queue heute? So wie ich gerade sitze. Genau so.
I could actually go for some egg rolls right now, I'm not gonna lie.
They do sound good.
2-1-4 Teams nicht das Ende der LCS. Erneut Sentinels hat schon von allen 3 Top-Teams auf die Fresse bekommen. Die wurden schedule-technisch geknallt.
For both of these teams. You know, we are down to the final 2 weeks. They both have only the 1 win. And so you've got to start stacking up some wins here if you want to try to make it into playoffs.
I have been updated by producers. It is a monitor flicker, so hopefully something that can be resolved very quickly. Just somebody pausing to make sure that their monitor is not going to have greater issues in the middle of a team fight or something. Monitor flicker while you're farming a jungle camp or placing some wards. Okay, whatever. Monitor flicker in the middle of a team fight that may or may not decide the game. Bit of a bigger issue.
Das hört sich nach sehr hartem Placebo an, Bruder. Das hört sich nach sehr, sehr hartem Placebo an.
We'll see, you know, if they're going to be able to get that fixed quickly. Hopefully we're getting right back in.
Sind wir später wieder schön, wenn du Rücken hast wie Quasimodo. Dafür gehe ich ja 2-mal die Woche Rücken trainieren. Das passt. Jay, danke für den 5. Danke. Dafür gehe ich ja 2-mal die Woche Rücken trainieren. Kann ich tanken. Das Einzige, der die LCS-Kurs streamt, das kann ich dir nicht sagen. Gibt auf jeden Fall andere US-Kurs-Streamer.
And it is going to be problematic as long as Rahel is not getting poked out, but that is an if, because we see all the poke that is available from B-Boy, and if you get hit by a couple of Mystic shots, you know, True Shot Barrage, and then Equalizer just gets dropped on your head, you might not die, but you might not be able to fight.
Yeah, you can't position yourself as well as you would want to, as we see Shopify kind of creeping up into this topside jungle. And for me, for Sentinels, it is about where they put this.
So, Hambach, du fucking Loser. Wie wär's, wenn wir einen richtig usen, ha? Und Impact, wie wär's, wenn wir nicht mit 50% HP spawnen, bevor der Teamfight überhaupt startet? Hm? Du Full Ape.
Trying to aggressively posture here, fighting for vision control over the topside river. But Shopify will manage to defend their control ward on top of the Fey Light. As Sentinels are forced back to the Tier 1 turret here in mid. This Tier 1 turret still has so much.
Und Fokus weiter und okay, die können einfach Front-to-Back spielen. Die gewinnen halt 100%. Wenn Rahel 3 Items hat, gewinnen die Front-to-Back. I'm sure of it. Einfach wie Menschen spielen. Nicht so deep.
Magic damage in there, so quite an effective buy here. And in general, Zhonya's is just way less effective against Caitlyn, so I kind of like just going this AP tanky style anyway, because you go into stasis, you get trapped, and he just kills you later.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you've got 2.5 seconds where you don't do anything, and then I'm going to headshot you for half your health as soon as you're done. Like, all right, sure, dude. But we have less than 3 minutes until the next dragon spawns. Again, that will not be
this is unreal.
That was not what who
unfucking real, man.
No passive.
Yeah. Put it in the chat. Mark it for the next 10
Follow
seconds.
up? Question mark?
Team?
But in the meantime, despite the fact that that pick did not work out, Rahel is able to get that Tier 1.
Der hat mich an der Angel, ne? Hui. Der hat mich schon wieder an der Angel.
Outer ring of turrets down 4 Sentinels, so they should be able to, you know, respond in these side lanes, get their waves pushed out, hopefully, and kind of move their vision line up on the map.
And that's going to be LDR when he bases, pretty much carry.
Oh, you mean the translate reality?
And we still do not
He's just pissing me off. Oh, IQ-Check bestand von Rahel. Super.
So I'm assuming he's going to be going into Deadman's next.
Super.
And reminder, as we're waiting for the teams to figure out which one of them is worthy
Vielleicht ablöften in letzter Zeit aufgucke.
towards
Passt.
their playoff dreams. The spring finals are happening.
Passt. Deine Entscheidung.
Tempe, Arizona on June 13th and 14th. Single day tickets available. You can go ahead and use the QR code on your screen right now. Check that.
Rahel auch Hausmeister.
Show up. I'm going to be
Schon.
there.
Oh, das ist gut.
I love our road shows. Hope to see y'all participate in that as well. And now Sentinels with control over the top side river, a little bit more vision being established. Huhi leading the charge into the enemy jungle. They're trying to make things a little bit
Ja,
scarier.
Rando ist für Context ja auf jeden Fall eine Option.
Yeah,
Aber
that's exactly what they should do, right? Like, get that vision line up around where the Baron is. So, essentially so that Shopify can't play as much with Fog of War and the poke that they have, because that is actually a massive benefit. If the map is dark for Sentinels, they can just kind of poke from wherever with this Ezreal. So, right now it's just kind of a...
meine Background wieder im Dezember. Nee, im November.
Yeah,
Bis dann.
Completed his seekers, so we talked about the Caitlyn interaction. Sometimes it's still worthwhile because if you can get in on top and you just have everyone piling in, then maybe they can't follow up. But big fight here.
Yeah, Hambach's already lost about half of his HP. Zinni coming in here with
Hat
the Realm
rote Plasma.
Hambach reinforced by Impact and the rest of Sentinels, though. So it looks like we're just going to get so far one ulti for nothing. Huhi, however, does take a big chunk of damage coming
Alter,
from B.
ey.
Tempered Fate forces a reposition from Shopify, but doesn't actually...
Ich werde gerage-baitet von ihm. Ich werde gerage-baitet von ihm, aktiv.
But Zinni still just fine, hit by the Noxious Blast, but no follow-up there from Twin Fangs. Sentinels control over the top side river.
Was macht Contracts da? Ey.
Grab a B-Boy with a beautiful snipe onto Huhi. The Bard is dead for free.
Der Tisch kann nichts für seine Inkompetenz.
They secure the crab, but now they have to run away. It's a
Der Tisch kann nichts für seine Inkompetenz.
to march forward, but it takes a big chunk of damage coming out from Rahel.
Yeah, that is scary stuff. He cannot charge too much more forward, and it is going to be...
Ey, dass sie den zweiten Drake verlieren, das ist unreal, dieser Typ. Dieser Typ ist so schlecht.
Very likely going to be 2-2, but on the other side, Sentinels are going to try to rush Baron here. Cassio and Caitlyn do kill this fast, and Shopify not responding that quickly.
Yeah, I really love this from Sentinels. They're saying, okay, we know that we're...
Wie bekommen denn Nash?
We know that you're going to take the dragon. We're going to try and
Was?
get Baron instead. Shopify now aware of this. Ocean Drake
Was?
has been claimed by the Rebellion.
Seos behind them.
Sentinels still on the...
Ey, könnt ihr den Nash hitten?
1600 HP. Seos with
Oh mein Gott.
multi-man
Oh mein
ulti,
Gott.
but it's not
Oh
gonna
mein
be
Gott.
dead.
Oh mein Gott.
Bounces around.
Nein.
Fog
Oh mein
nearly
Gott.
slammed back
Das
to
ist...
the wall, but he flashed
Oh.
away, giving himself
Here's
5. Contracts, 2/3 HP, walking back away here with the moon.
Nicht flashen, Impact, bitte. Impact, Flash Ulti nicht.
Fudge down. As the Meeps, that was not exactly the portal that he wanted. It's all right. They should still have plenty of range to take him down. So Fudge drops, Seos drops, Sentinels gets the Baron. That was actually a huge sequence that started off so bad for them.
That was actually really nicely done from Sentinels, basically calling Shopify's bluff, right? Like, we know we're down a man, which is unfortunate. The poke did get us up around Baron. However, we're going to call your bluff. We know you're going to be going for the Drake. We have a fed Caitlyn and a Cassio. We can try to rush this Baron down. And then Seos was just... He's really so annoying.
Kann der Übersetzer bitte aufhören, also wirklich, kann der Übersetzer einfach übersetzen für Rachel, bitte?
Right? Because Fudge is still making his way up.
Bitte, übersetz einfach für Rachel und lass den Rest in Ruhe, bitte. Einfach übersetzen.
Right on the engage, into the Pathmaker stun, and he just got killed before he could even get the stasis off.
TJ, danke für den 9.
Mundo, they knew Mundo wasn't there, so that's why they finished him.
Einfach übersetzen.
On the dragon,
Huhi.
going to contracts. They know he's on the other side, and Mundo without ultimate is useless. Mundo without ultimate, it is so
Big
hard.
cannon minion.
Exactly, walking into these fights. So contracts then does show up, but he shows up late, and he just gets destroyed by the carries. So great call from Sentinels. A little bit disjointed on the engage was Seos, and really nice timing on Petrifying Gaze from Darkwings to be able to set that up.
And now the question is, how much can Sentinels get again? Before this most recent sequence, 90 seconds ago, Sentinels' biggest lead so far this game was about 3,000. Now they're up to 4,000. You really want to see them be able to push this advantage and find something that they can really command the game from at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's where wherever they put this Caitlyn, turrets should just die, right? So
that's 4 item Caitlyn. That's 100% crit chance.
She is very, very far ahead. Also, a reminder just for what is on the line for Sentinels, if they do manage to take this series and DSG win later today, they will lock a playoff spot. However, if Shopify do manage to take this series and DSG win, they will be eliminated.
Yep. So if you're a Sentinels fan, if Sentinels win, you love DSG.
Yeah.
If Sentinels lose, you hate DSG.
Yeah. Every Sentinels fan opinion about DSG is going to change dramatically based on the outcome of this series here today.
Ooh.
As the true shot barrage finally finds that shot. He gets the kill.
Dieser Typ.
Nice hit there from B-Boy. 2-0-1 on the Ezreal. At least going to slow the tempo here a little bit for Sentinels, but they're still very far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it slows it down. I actually think a lot, right? Because Zinni is able to get some
Bitte.
damage onto the
Bitte, bitte, pickt einfach Rell und Orn. Bitte. Rell und Orn. Ich kann's nicht mehr. Ja, Heal war fairerweise nicht ab. Heal war nicht ab, aber trotzdem. Es ist unreal, dieser Typ. Rell wieder Spielweise, ist scheißegal, ob der Spielweise oder nicht. Der muss ihn einfach spielen. Wen sehen wir mit den Sentinels? Was kommt danach? Noch Schlimmeres, noch Schlimmeres. Was soll ich sagen? Noch was Schlimmeres. Ja, ich kann es nicht schön reden. Burnout? Nee, Burnout ist erst im November. Bis dann müssen wir durchackern. November habe ich Zeit für Burnout. Hat 3-1 gewonnen. Meine Schwester und ihr Freund waren im Stadion heute und die waren sehr unzufrieden mit dem Schiedsrichter. Stimmt das? War dein Versager? Nach Worlds? Ja, 14. November kann ich Burnout haben. Nee, 15. Hier war ab. Oh, tot. Tot. Absoluter Versager.
Rahel now has that rapid fire, and he is just so strong. No one is going to be able to stand long against him.
Okay, Contract's doing a good job there, using the canister to block Hombok's Ishtal's impact from going through the wall and finding a more valuable target. No engage from Sentinels despite the attempt.
Yeah, the red buff is healing him up quite a bit, actually, so Contract's held onto the ult. That is important. He's going to have that level 3 ultimate for this fight. That is a good trap line.
Kommt deine Schwester von der Art eigentlich nach dir? Kürzere Zündschnur.
Remember, this is not
Kürzere Zündschnur.
because Shopify has got the past 2 Drakes. This third one about to go their way. There it is, secured by Hombok. Tempered Fate just barely catches Zinni.
Einfach vor Rahel peelen die Opfer.
Equalizer is used defensively. Sentinels continue.
Noch kürzer, ja.
Nice use of the magical journey there to get all 5 players back together. However, they're now cut off from their own base by Shopify. Rebellion trying to find some sort of an angle here.
Einfach vor Rahel peelen die Opfer. Oh, danke schön, sehr, sonst sind ihr Impact. Ihr müsst einfach nur für eure Caitlyn peelen, ihr Dogs. Oh mein Gott. Was machst du, Hui? Peelt einfach für eure Caitlyn, bitte.
So the dust settles and we end up trading 1 Drake for Impact.
That actually could have gone.
Ihr seid so scheiße. Was hat Impact da wieder gemacht?
Clever play coming out of Zinni and Seos to get onto Impact and kind of destroy the frontlining he'd been able to do. So as we see.
TI spielt morgen, ja, alle Top 4 Teams spielen morgen.
This does catch on to Zinni.
Heute spielen nur die kompletten Versager.
Down and the fight. We already talked about how the magical journey goes through.
And I also just really like, the timing of the Realm Warp, because it actually protects Fudge, right? Because Fudge is in this spot where Fudge...
Schaut euch Impact an! Bitte, was macht Impact? Was machst du? Was machst du? Warum ultest du? Dachte ihr, SEN ist besser als FlyQuest? Ja, well, but I mean, das ist halt die Frage, ne? Laut Standings nicht erstmal. Aber Sentinels gegen FlyQuest ist nächste Woche.
The focus is going to be around this Baron pit. That is a big wave crashing into the tier 3 turret topside.
We haven't really talked about it, but Zinni is quietly getting very strong. He's got a lot of farm here, and he has been on the actualizer for a while, had it for the last fight, now has his own arm guard to boot, up 1.4k, so it is becoming a battle of these 2 carries. Zinni is dangerous, but the difficulty for him is going to be the range. Can he actually get in and safely hit these people? Is yet another temper.
Ey, dieser Typ. Was ist sidestepped?
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job at making sure that it's just a space creator and not
Das ist ein Choke gewesen, wie kannst du es wissen?
As the goal lead is as small as it's been, I feel like in the last 15-20 minutes. We're 35 minutes in right now.
Bitte peelt für das Alien.
The Seros contract just going to eat the ace in the hole. And everything's fine. Zinni's going to have to take a reset though.
Losing that Seraph is pretty big, though. If they do fight before that cooldown is back up, that is a lot of your protection, especially because it's amped by, you know, the actualizer as well. So, you know, is something that they need, and Sentinels are going to try to force the issue. They're just right onto the Dragon.
I love this from Sentinels, noticing, hey, you don't have that cooldown. Let's go for this. Let's force contract.
Alter.
Looking to try to approach, steal away the Baron, slam back into the wall from Hambach, who immediately walks back over and just smites it down. Now,
Alter, Kettle macht so viel Damage. Hilfe.
Hambach, less than half HP. Contract slowly.
Seos wird gleich reinflashen, ne? Es ist aber fein. Hui, du musst nur Mikhails drücken. Übersetzen und Mikhails drücken. Übersetzen und Mikhails drücken, bitte. Hui, das schaffst du. Seos hat gegrieft. Easy. Free win. Unlosable. Unlosable. Peelt für euer Alien. Yup.
Sentinels continuing
Hambach.
to try to make a little bit of space, get themselves away. 1-for-1. Baron goes to Sentinels.
This time the timing on the gauge was actually really nice from Seos, and he got the stasis off before he got hit by the petrifying gaze, so he was able to get that off, you know, CC up these soul laners, impact falls again. These are such scrappy fights, but because both teams know if they overcommit into their opponents, they're going to get wiped, it is just like these skirmishes where no one is actually getting finished off a lot of the time.
Yeah, and as we see, I do like Hambach. I was wondering if B-Boy was going to be able to get in on that. But as contracts get suppressed, right, like he's able to flash out. And then as you had already talked about, I really love this equalizer from Fudge as well. Kind of forcing Rahel and Huhi off of this. And then here's the engage coming out of Seos, learned from last time. Goes into stasis, and even though he dies, taking out the frontliner in impact and removing that Baron is a little bit more important than
BD fertig.
your life for an engage.
Nee, ich war nicht. B-Boy kam ein Jahr später. B-Boy war, glaube ich, 21.
He died without using all out. It's not like he shed his resistances to go in and try to do some drain tanking. He just died. Impact is paper if Shopify
Hambachs Englisch ist sehr rough.
Seems like it was the right choice, but he is dying in a hurry. There's a lot of damage on the other side. You know, it doesn't look like a good tank killing comp, but they are doing it very effectively.
Now it's time for the battle for the Ocean Soul. If Shopify get this, they will claim that soul. Impact losing about half HP here again.
Hui,
Seos looking for the potential.
du scheiß Moron, halt deine Ulti. Ja, seht ihr, wie Contract schmilzt?
Marked, however, by Sentinels. Dragon still about
Impact, wir müssen nicht 10% HP sein vor dem Fight. Oh mein Gott, schaut euch Top und Support an.
Ate a ton of damage there. Ace in the hole blocked by Zinni. Equalizer immediately summoned up by there to try to create a little bit of space. Zone Sentinels away. B-Boy stepping up on the
Seos tot, bitte.
Immediately the tempered fate has already collided.
Nächste Box, ja, super. Zinni auch in der Wand.
Keeps him stuck
Ja.
in place as the Dragon is ultimately claimed
Yep.
Shopify. But what is the
Super. Nicht flashen, Rachel. Dein Scheiß-Team macht nichts für dich. Das war Fatsch.
Fudge is using teleport defensively, just trying to escape. Meanwhile, there's a massive wave crashing into top, a massive wave crashing into bot, and Contracts and Zinni aren't even going to escape. They're both about to die. Is this the end of the game right now? Sentinels down the bottom lane. It's Fudge versus 5, and just like that, Shopify, they make the big play to try to contest the Drake. They get it.
Okay.
At the cost of the entire game. Fudge falls
Okay.
B5. Sentinels with all 5 men standing into the enemy base, and 39 minutes in, Sentinels take game 1.
Sentinels finally able to get the job done in that.
Junge.
Which is not effective from Seos, and then as they're trying to retreat on the side of Shopify, there's so much chase down here from Sentinels with a Tempered Fate, with the Magical Journey, with the Ishtal's Impact, with Caitlyn flashing forward. They knew that was their opportunity, and they pounced on it.
Yeah, and I mean, it initially looked so good, right? Because B-Boy was poking a ton on that topside setup, and they were able to get that Drake. But Sentinels take game 1, and I want to hear...
Oh, for fuck's sake. Ich sage, pack Rachel in LEC und das Team heißt nicht SK. Besser AD Carry in der Liga, das ist nicht mal gelogen. Das ist legit nicht mal gelogen. Der Typ ist so insane. Der macht keinen... No joke, dieser Typ macht keine Fehler. Ich meine das ernst, by the way. Der Typ macht keine Fehler. Das ist krank. Und besser als Killist, obviously. Hier muss er gegen einen anderen LCK-Hausmeister competen, AK Berserker. Wer Rachel? Er hat bei SK unterschrieben, nein, er war bei SK.
go through the middle, but then he's more liable to get hit by skill shots. And
Schau einfach Rachel Teamfighting an, das ist so krank.
kind of disappeared for Shopify was pretty big. So now Fudge, if we look here,
also, by the way.
Fudge is half health, no ultimate. He's not going to go out of the fights. He did.
He did. He walked on one.
That's unlucky.
He took a headshot.
And even though they were able to get the Drake, watch B-Boy in this fight. And it's basically about how Sentinels is able to get on top of him and how this ultimate not landing by the Nico means Fudge is just...
Cena vs. G2 läuft ja gerade, Bruder, niemanden juckt. Legit, niemanden juckt Valorant.
Stopwatch with his Skarner ultimate.
Niemand juckt Valorant.
Who he comes over, slaps him a few times, and the 6-item Rahel is there. And I like the way that they immediately identify that the game can be over, because the waves had been pushing this entire time for them. They had the top lane pushing, bot lane is massive, and they just managed to run everybody down. Impact teleports in behind him, cuts him off, and Zinni could not escape for the win.
Yeah, Rahel damage is big. Caitlyn, you know, Caitlyn endgame does quite a lot of damage. And if we go back to the very beginning of the game,
Gut, das wird so besser als was machst du denn hier? Außer dumme Fragen stellen.
Rahel is the one sentinel that I have on my fantasy also, so good job.
Good job, Rahel and Hambach. Thank you.
Let's take a look at this straight from the lane phase.
Boah, Hui hat mich, also wirklich, Hui, dieses Game, Hui hat mich geragebaitet. Er hat's hinbekommen, das war gut.
On his Skarner that we all know and love. Coaching staff really happy with that one as well, but
he's back.
Ja, also dieser Typ ist insane, by the way, Rachel.
But we are showing the successful ones, and they're able to get a good early lead for this Caitlyn. And then they also did this swap in the mid game, and Rahel was even able to get further ahead.
True.
And so
Oh, falsch. Fuck, komm ich hier raus? Was? Fucking way. Okay, besser LCS AD Carry.
And that's kind of the name of the game, are the traps, because I'm going to show you like just 2 plays. Right?
Ja, oder Berserker.
The failed play from Sentinels, because this was a lot about Dragon.
Ja, oder Berserker.
Dragon stack, I guess 2 of them here. Now this one was a failed one from Sentinel side, because as you can see, it's a little bit rushed. They see Shopify Rebellion pushing in, so the traps that you're actually seeing being placed down are not really good at all. So Shopify Rebellion can just walk straight on through. So that makes it really easy for them to take space, start to actually pinch out Hambach. He gets extremely low. The Bard ulti comes through.
Karl hat mir geschrieben, Mann, das Spiel hättest du schauen sollen.
Give him up this specific dragon. And so that's the one example of it being done poorly.
Yeah, the poke damage was good from Shopify.
Exactly. And so then you're going to have to really reassess how you do it properly. Now this is after Shopify Rebellion is able to get a few of their own. Just watch Rahel immediately place these traps down. He knows how it played out last time around. He's going to immediately make it better. And so Shopify finds it incredibly difficult. So they're like, oh, we can't do much here. We're actually going to try and pinch out Impact and try and play it out. By the time they start doing that, Dragon has already been taken down, and you can see the wall that was created.
Bürgergeld auf Viertelmitte is crazy.
First time around, it sucked. Second time around, they actually put focus on towards it. It was much better, and now you can see as the later stages, the later Dragon objective fights that were being taken, Trapline made it a big success for them to even get sold.
And as we always do for every single game, we vote for player of the game.
Yes, we do.
As we do.
Rachel.
It's tied, which means
Was?
the fans get to vote.
Rachel.
It is a tie between Rahel and Hambach. Is it the jungler
Rahel damage, bro.
Rachel.
Or is it the 80 carry using that lead that is deserving of the pause?
Es ist Rachel. Wie kann man da Hambach nehmen?
Pile them up on
Wie kann man da Hambach nehmen? Seid ihr alle delusional?
Now.
I think you guys are out of
I
luck.
think it's Rahel. I think killing everyone. It's
Oh
Rahel.
my God,
Yeah.
they gave it to Rahel. They didn't give us
I mean,
a
that
chance.
wasn't a close percentage.
They didn't give us a chance.
That wasn't a close percentage, Rahel.
Junge.
Nice vote, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, das ist gestört.
Dude, Rahel
Olli ist High Challenger, ja.
4-0, 24 kills, 2 deaths.
100%
undefeated on
kill
Skarner.
participation as well.
I'm gonna question it, giving Caitlyn and Skarner to Sentinels when that's the majority of their wins all year in a must.
Junge, was ist hier los?
Strategy. Next
Shopify,
game, they don't even
Wir lieben Leute, die openly über Memes reden. Wir lieben sowas.
After this break, no more Skarner, no more Caitlyn.
No more Bard either.
Fucking funny.
No fear.
No fear. Okay.
Fucking funny.
looks like we've got a new
Kommandant MVP ist crazy.
Is the Telluride just the obvious pick?
Wellflower.
So, gehört auf Toilette. Bieglei.
Powertrain. That's already a problem for the rest of the Rift.
And a 30-inch panoramic display too. That is unfair control.
Guys, all-wheel drive with terrain mode? No shot anyone's catching this.
Yeah, this seems completely OP.
No debate. This first pick, we have to lock it in. Now!
The Kia Telluride Turbo Hybrid. Pick it before your opponents do.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Rich in the ground before Dub can even get there. In time to try to knock out as Impact gets bursted.
Don't feed.
Knocks him down.
Get fed. Scan the QR code for deals only on Uber Eats.
I'll mark the rumble here.
Yeah. Nico here. I can walk the I지를. Nico. 이질 dash. Nico kill Nico. 야 라이즈까지 맞을래? 라이즈야. 야 라이즈 has flash. We can chase 이지를 얼른 guys. Look 이지를. We chase. 라이즈 노플. RTP okay. RTP. Okay. I think chase him.
Oh, 까비.
Chase him.
I'm also TP.
Yeah, here. 야.
돈 깔아줄라.
No flash 라이즈. 라이즈 여기 할래. We can 끝내자.
I'll play with. Okay.
Sentinels with all 5 men standing push into the enemy base, and 39 minutes in, Sentinels take game 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCS as we are in the middle of our best of 3 between Sentinels and Shopify Rebellion. Game number 1 was pretty close for honestly a very long time. Sentinels got out to an early lead, but they were never really able to make that lead become that much larger until it did. And then all of a sudden, until later on, they just immediately win a fight and they win the entire game. Straight up from there, yeah. Emily is the tallest. Wow, wait, is this actually what Emily Vision is like? I can't see half the screen.
You can't see over to the...
so different.
No,
This sucks. I can't
You legit can't see the
So,
problem.
Yeah.
wir haben 2-0.
Yeah, I actually, if
Oder
I
wie
take
machen
one
wir's?
step back, cannot see the bottom of the prompter.
Wie machen wir's?
On hard mode.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
you and I are just using cheat codes.
Yeah,
We
we're
didn't
on
know it.
story mode. She's on hardcore.
What difficulty would you like to play on? Easy, normal, hard,
Emily.
insane, or
Zeig mal, wie du aussiehst, Fnatic.
I are playing on baby difficulty?
Wenn du über andere Leute judge, dann zeig doch mal, wie du aussiehst.
The worst part is,
Da können wir dich auch judgen, wenn du das möchtest.
to be told, the doctor kept calling me
Passt für dich, oder?
expert, and I never did, and I'm bitter about it. But
It's her
we have-
villain origin story.
Yeah.
The doctor told me I would be tall. He lied.
I have some good news for Shopify and coming back in this series.
Okay, what do you got?
No Caitlyn available,
No Skarner
no
available.
Skarner available. So we've removed the 100% win
Yep.
rate champion.
All the
So.
champions they hadn't lost on. 100%.
Klassiker für Shopify wäre jetzt hier Kokinami für die beiden.
And now they have
Damit gewinnen sie meistens ein Game.
the two champions they pulled out for the first time as
There
well.
you go.
100% win rate
There
on
you go.
Casio. Here is where we're probably going to see the Ashe Seraphine locked in. Yep. We are speeding through this draft.
Pantheon for Ashe Seraphine, I think it's kind of pretty standard.
Mhm.
Yeah, I tend to be on the side of Ashe Seraphine is better because Pantheon is a strong ganking jungler. The idea is they push up, they get attacked. The problem is Hawkshot just kind of cheats. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So, gehen die MF Nautilus oder gehen die Kokinami?
when he could be on your side of the map.
Erneut Kokinami wäre der Klassiker für Shopify.
He has got to find picks
Okay.
and take out this bot.
Yep.
But they get to cheat.
Da ist der Klassiker.
Cheating is fun if you're Ashe. I don't know. You
If
can
you're
help
the
out your own
cheater.
jungler.
Hey, Fnatic wollte nicht. Hallo.
I will say, I do like the
Wie siehst du aus?
for contracts specifically. I
Wenn du
think
über andere Leute
has
judgst.
done
Wir wollen dich sehen.
well on. We already talked about in a loss, he still had like an insane Pantheon game. It allows him to attack side lanes. It allows him to participate in a lot of these early skirmishes in a way that the Mundo definitely didn't. We have the Nefiri coming out, this time for Hambach.
That is the polar opposite of the champions that
Mag die First Free. Wie wäre es mit einem Sion auf Toplane? Oder einem Orn tatsächlich. Oder einem Shogat.
Last week when we had
Ich nehme alles.
a Nami Corki as the answer into Ashe Seraphine, which is super standard in pro. I was talking about the win rates. It's almost a 79, like 80% win rate for the Ashe Seraphine.
You were the person I was
Yeah.
about to pose the question. I was like, I think I was talking to you
Yeah.
about this last week, and you were like, yeah, it's the answer.
Schreiter Kali. Asia.
It's crazy. It's like this is
Fuck, sie haben es rausgefunden.
who are picking has a 20% win rate, and people are doing it in pro all the time. Last week we did actually see it win, but it has just not been in.
Smaller aktuell Pick beim E-Sport. Ich glaube, komplett underplayed, ja. Hatten letzte Woche einen von Masu. Der war sehr, sehr, sehr OP. Also definitiv underplayed.
An answer for that Ashe Seraphine, and previously Corki Nami or Yunara Lulu were kind of like the handshakes that people
Yeah.
would go for. I do like a good like MF Nautilus. I've also seen people trying to pull out Senna a little bit more recently. Not necessarily winning with it, unfortunately, but yeah, it's kind of a race to see like, okay, what does actually counter this Ashe Seraphine?
Hallo Fnatic. Hörst du mich nicht? Fnatic B.
With the Nefiri, they both provide so much, especially with the Seraphine, for Nefiri to be able to
Oder willst du dich nicht zeigen?
over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I will give the
Nachdem du das Aussehen von anderen judgst.
last week that I cast where I was bringing up those stats was B-Boy Seos, and then B-Boy dropped the
Victor auf 4 ist interessant, dass sie nicht Azir gehen hier, right? Azir wäre für mich der Standard-Pick gewesen.
last week against FlyQuest.
Talia Pantheon.
Losing the lane early, he was able to come back. Talia has gained a lot of popularity with the changes. Was kind of nerfed through the loss of Phase Rush, but then gained 5 damage per hit on the Q at rank 1, which really upped the wave clear, and Deathfire Touch works quite well on her as well.
Okay, da gehe ich davon aus, dass einer wohl zu hässlich ist, um sich zu zeigen.
Talia lock-in,
Schade.
because it also
Oh,
pairs
perfekt.
super well with the Pantheon, right? This was the duo of destruction that we kind of watched
Perfekt.
in previous splits. Do really, really well. It gives you so much side lane control. And I like it for the type of
Sagen wir nochmal für den Victor zu haben. Boah, perfekt.
when he's trying
Wow, Pixel perfekt.
It's going to be a
Sentinels kommt.
function of how much him and Zinni's jungle
Aber-
mid synergy is kind of improved.
Perfekt.
Shopify, what I'm looking at right here is I need to see picks. And if
Ich liebe die Comp von Sentinels.
because their engage is dog schlop. That is not what you want to have for a team fight. They don't have a button that
Can you
says...
repeat that? What is it again?
Dog schlop.
Dog
Not
schlop.
just slop. Not just slop. Schlop.
Dog schlop.
Yeah.
It's an evolution. It's like
Yeah.
a Charmander into a Charmeleon, all right? It's dog schlop.
But it's evolving in the bad way.
Wait, yeah, slop
It's like when
into
food
schlop.
is growing mold and it starts to become alive, you know?
Into what? What's the third?
Am besser Jungle genervt.
We're not high enough level.
Aber immer noch spielbar. Arthurs Jungle auch theoretisch spielbar. Aber die skirmischen halt nicht so gut im Early Game.
Are not powerful enough to control it.
This is game number
Die
2
skirmischen nicht
Evolution.
so gut im Early Game. Das wäre jetzt mein,
Then we'll be high
mein
enough
Take
level
dazu.
to discover
And then
the
if we need a
evolution.
remake, we're in the like mega evolutions or whatever.
Yeah, then
those
we
are.
get into that modern day stuff.
Yeah.
I
Do not
stu-
bring that curse onto us.
Well, right now we're hoping that Shopify Rebellion can find their way
So.
to a game number 3. Because remember,
Wait a second.
this is such a what?
Why does Zinni have Storm Raider Surge? Is that an accident, do you think? I mean, like, maybe he can proc it? That just seems like that would be so hard for Talia to proc.
Weil Italia ist weak.
I mean, the
maybe it is
last
some
time.
interesting tech. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the last time I
Oopsie.
saw Storm Raider Surge on Champion, I didn't think it worked necessarily well on. I think it was APA's Galio?
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
all right. Well, looks like it must be intended because
Wahrscheinlich schwer zu balancen in der Champ, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Aber wenn solche Nischen-Item-Bits beim Durchkommen, dann ist es immer sehr gefährlich.
from the Oran Q, etc. But I just think it's going to be hard to proc. I'm interested to see how this does work out for him, and it does nothing for you in the 1v1.
Guter Invade.
We've got a level 1 invade as Contracts
Was?
immediately goes straight for Hombox, starting it as red. That's 2 point blank.
Das heißt, er braucht halt 4 Stunden, um das Camp zu clearen, ne? Also, ja.
Going to go ahead and reset.
Aber er kriegt ein Camp jetzt hier. Ja, okay.
Steals away his chickens. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like when Contracts is at his best, he is invading the enemy jungle. He's trying to download the guy. He's trying to predict where he is, and he's playing a very in-your-face style.
Yeah, I love this from Contracts, and he should be able to get onto this red buff as well.
Kann er 4 in der Ulti die wir kasten? Nein. Geht nicht mit R.
So most people are playing Storm Raider Surge in Pro, so it's interesting. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how it actually does work out for him.
All right, well, right now, all eyes still focused on this topside jungle.
Zinni moved first, aber wir haben Q-Smite. Gibt er?
His red buff back from
Er gibt, ne?
Zinni's going to be first on the rotation, though. Steps forward here with a threaded volley. Does find a little bit of damage. Knocks down the puppy dog.
Alter.
But Contracts is the one who steals the mission accomplished.
Der Dot vom Q hat ihn fast getötet. Oh mein Gott.
There, but was able to finish it off. And yeah, it's nice to see an aggressive level 1 here
Oof.
from Contracts. Can be quite effective, obviously, you know, getting in there and being able to challenge on these level 1 jungle invades. We've been seeing so much more of that in this season.
Ja, aber eigentlich ist der Pantheon der Invadete.
A little bit of time for people to get used to how early
Eigentlich ist Pantheon der Invadete.
now in the game, right? But saw a lot of LPL teams kind of early on in Split 1 trying some weird level 1s, and then and now we see. I mean, I agree with exactly what Clayton had said, where Contracts is at his best when he's doing these kind of early, unique invades to try to set the opposing jungler behind.
And as Contracts succeeded in the early game and everything else is rather quiet, we do have a little bit of a look behind the scenes. Before the game, B-Boy and Seos had a fun back and forth.
Referee, can I get Red Bull? Everything for you, my friend. Yeah, sugar, please. Thank you. Sugar. Yes. When you're retired.
Be a singer when you retire. Some people aren't that specific on whether or not you have a sugary drink or a sugar-free drink. It seems like B-Boy is very much on one side of the aisle.
War Kollege Hammer da gerade gespottet? Er verliert respawnte Camps. Das ist horrendous.
A game number 3 here against Sentinel.
Er sollte nicht Bot ganken, also ja.
Just feel like, dude, everything matters so much in these
Base hier ist gut. Proxy-Fan. Respawn von Contracts. Raptors contesten.
Whether or not they win or lose this determines whether you're vehemently cheering for or against Disguise in the next game, just because there's so many of these teams that are neck and neck in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be incredibly important here. Sentinels obviously, you know, taking that first series. If they do win and DSG wins, then they would be locking playoffs, which would be pretty huge for them. Because the expectations are that they are a really good team in the league. And you know, even if the regular season does not go your way, they're not going to be some guaranteed free win in the playoffs. All the other pros are definitely looking at them as a strong team.
That's a nice, shiny glint on your head there, my friend.
That is diabolical.
Did you polish that thing before the series today?
The graphics people asked me for some photos. They're giving the reflections on the chrome dome there.
That's a makeup team did a good job there. You're looking spiffy and shiny, my friend.
Hat sich Fnatic jetzt eigentlich schon geäußert? Moment, ich add ihn mal. Vielleicht hat er es ja übersehen. Hallo. Ist er hier? Er hat vorher noch geschrieben.
It is a good point, though, that you would think, based on how other pros talk about the teams, on how we all predicted with power rankings, for these two teams to be in very different places in the standings, they're both at 1 and 4. They both have the same threat of potentially not making playoffs, and they both have to be locked in for this series.
Yeah, and this match essentially does decide, like, not mathematically, but it does decide whether they go to playoffs in a pretty big way. So here they're, like, playoff odds entering today, and it's going to swap. If Sentinels win, they then have an 87.5% chance to lock playoffs. If Shopify win, they just lock playoffs.
Zu was geäußert? Er muss noch ein Bild von sich zeigen, weil er nämlich das Aussehen von Emily gejudged hat.
And the next one, it's just, hey man, you're in. That's it.
That's huge.
And yeah, that's especially huge considering, think back to Split 1, like going into the lock-in tournament, Shopify was the first team eliminated. This is a squad that really wants to show that they're more than what they've demonstrated so far this year. And being able to just instantly lock playoffs right there would have to be a huge relief.
Yeah, and I know I saw an interview, I believe it was from Contracts, talking about how, you know, this week was their first like positive win rate in scrims, right? So they are seeing the improvements they feel in scrims, and they're just hoping
Da bis zum Ende vom Game Zeit, ansonsten bann ich ihn.
and show that, hey, we are getting better.
I will say I love how Contracts just keeps revisiting Hambach's Raptors up here, but on the other side, I mean, Hambach was able to kind of come down, get these Krugs, play around some of the pushes they've had with this Ash Seraphine bot.
Guter Dive. Free Dive auch. Super.
Just dead. Immediately Hambach jumps
Super.
in with a Hound's Pursuit. Call of the Pack drops the turret aggro as soon as he's done with the dive. It's easy peasy. That man is kibbles and bits.
Schlopped him.
Yeah, Schlop. That's a grade A Schlop.
Turn
right
him
there.
to Schlop.
Dogs love eating schlop.
Dogs do. If there's one thing that would eat Schlop, it's
Wer ist Emily einig?
My dog will literally
Sie.
eat anything.
Emily Rand.
Our dog tries to eat the trash.
My dog is very curious
You're
about
not picky, you know?
No.
You can respect that.
It's an adventurous spirit.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not your dog is not pretentious, you know?
No,
He's not a hoity-toity dog.
No,
He is anything but.
He's a common man.
Doch, der ist eine Violiste.
Subscription to the local country
he is
club,
a
but he
dog-
knows where the dumpster
Yeah,
is.
he is
God
a
bless
dog
it.
of the people.
Yeah.
In this game, though, I did want to point out that is not great for Shopify, right? Because
That is not great for Shopify.
I'm understanding.
Res.
it.
Eating out of your dumpster. This is not great.
The impetus.
Res hat sehr viel. Allgemein, die haben super viel, sehr viel Charisma.
Position. They are the ones
Aber ja,
that need to be
Res meinst
making
du.
early to mid game plays to set themselves ahead because the comp on the right scales remarkably well and is very easy, in my opinion, to pilot. So it is kind of on Shopify, and you can see that. You can see
Res ist der Starter, der im Show ganz genau.
all
Yep.
of these revisits he's had to Raptors with the initial invade as well.
Was ändert das Zeigen von dem Bild daran, dass er ausgegangen ist? Ich gehe mal davon, warum nicht? Kann sich doch auch zeigen. Wenn man Leute fürs Aussehen judgt, warum nicht? Ist doch das Mindeste. Und da kann ich ihn immer noch bannen. Aber ist auch das Mindeste. Die Anonymität im Internet gibt so vielen Leuten einfach so Fake-Schutz. Miserabler Mensch zu sein.
How far can we take the dog puns and metaphors? I want to see.
Come on, I had to do it. We were on the dog.
I mean, look, we have Nefiri. We're talking about Schlop and eating from the dumpster.
I will say that was a little bit of a rough one.
Gut all in.
I like that. I don't know if Seos likes this though, as he's forced to flash away. But
Er ist so ein Alien, by the way. Er ist so gut.
Now that Sentinels in the 2v2, no help required. This time they find a second kill.
Yeah, dying once, as Emily said, not good.
KCM Coil 2-1, ja.
Dying twice, really not good for the team.
Da instinktiv nach vorne zu klicken, super.
Surprisingly, also not good for the team.
Yeah, and Hamak had already kind of started this Drake, right? Because, again, of this bot side pressure that this Ashe Seraphine has able to set up. So that's first Drake for them. That is a little bit more pressure on this bottom side of the map. And once again, Rahel off to a really nice start in his lane.
Rahel feeling great down here. And Ashe
Lohnt sich G2 vs KC nachzuschauen? Ja, war eine gute Series von G2. Warte, Stunden Stomp, ja.
Yeah, Corki Nami's the answer, and the answer works 20% of the time. Like, if you go into a test when you're in school and you're like, yeah, man, I know this, I got all the answers, and you get the thing back graded and you got a 20, you didn't actually know very much.
I mean, it is really crazy. I mean, obviously it's only a number of games and it's pro, it's not solo queue. But I remember hearing stats, and it was something like, if you are down a player, like if you are in a 4v5, you still have nearly a 20% chance to win the game in solo queue. It was something like that, so it's almost like someone didn't connect.
Es ist Cyclosword Nefiri. Super, auf dem momentanen Patch. Extrem starkes Item. Also auch wenn ihr Nefiri in Solo spielt, kauft das. Ihr könnt Hubris, ich bin heute Hubris into Cyclosword gegangen. Auch gut. Und Hubris auf dem momentanen Patch auch extrem stark.
Take a break. We got the same chance.
Take a load off. We got this loss handled.
Relax. Read a book. You know, get some fresh air. Touch some grass.
We'll see. I mean, it's definitely got to be a
Das ist fertig, super.
Annoying one for B-Boy, because they were actually winning the 2v2. He's up a little bit of farm. You know, and then Seos gets picked off once, kind of on a greedy play where he was trying to hold the wave. And then the second one, obviously, is the Ashe Seraphine combo, where you get hit by one, you get hit by the next, you're just perma-CC'd and picking out.
Yeah, over here in the mid lane. Arcane Storm going to be summoned up there by Darkwings just for the ability to control the wave, get this shoved out as Seos shows up. Doesn't want to...
Hubris Second gehen. Ja, die Sache Cyclosword macht... Also Cyclosword ist extrem viel Damage. Also es ist schon irgendwo sinnig, das First zu gehen. Kannst du machen. Du kannst auch Hubris Second gehen, ist okay. Cyclosword macht so viel Damage. Wer gewinnt die Series? Dignitas wirklich komplett Arsch? Nö, ich finde Dignitas nicht. Ich finde, Disguise hat ihren stärksten Spieler verloren. Nicht mal sonderlich close, und ich finde, Dignitas ist nicht mal wirklich, also Dignitas ist schon schlecht, aber Dignitas ist nicht super scheiße, die kriegen es noch nicht hin, Games zu gewinnen. Cyclosword ist quasi der Ersatz für Opportunity, das removed wurde. Es hat einen Energized Effekt, also quasi dasselbe wie Rapid Fire. Und wenn du damit Autotext oder auch Static Shift, wenn du damit Autotext, bekommst du 15 Lethality extra für 3 Sekunden oder sowas, und du machst einen prozentualen Current HP-Wert, Current HP, glaube ich. Nicht Ulten. Ja, sehr gut. Ulti halten ist super. Ulti halten ist super. Oh. Oh. Das war eine Menge Damage. Das war eine Menge Damage. Stack das Item. Stack das Item mit was? Oh ja, Stormblazer hat auch Energized. Ja, ja, Dignitas hat wahrscheinlich mit den schlechtesten Spieler der Liga mit XU. Ja, das stimmt, aber trotzdem.
He was looking for plays mid, couldn't find anything several times. He was trying to visit to try to make a play onto Darkwing's Victor. Is able to follow up here, and you know, Fudge going down is a little unfortunate, but because he was able to trade that kill back, it's super important. He is kind of the bright spot in this Shopify early game, right? The matchup into the Ornn has allowed him to have almost now a 1k gold lead.
Auf wen bauen außer Nefiri? Talon. Vermute Rengar. Kha'Zix. Allgemein so AD Assassins.
Darkwing's trying to aggressively use these arcane storms.
Kiana, Jace, ja, Kiana, Jace, sowas.
Rotates down to the bottom lane to deal with him. And honestly, I feel like whenever you're playing against Taliyah, if you're the mid laner and you bring the matchup down to bottom instead of laning mid, you feel good about it because Taliyah has less
Corki, den Bild haben wir schon gesehen.
Left and right. You can only go left.
Yeah, that's the problem. You need to be
Aber nicht regelmäßig.
both ways. Can't steer the car
It's like
right.
a Zoolander lane down there, you know?
Am besser, weiß nicht, ob sie es kauft. Weiß ich nicht.
That's a good movie. Classic.
But why male model?
Don't get me going on this, because I can talk about the gas station fight. I can talk about the files being in the computer. We can
Joe.
do this all day.
I feel like we make a files in the computer joke like every week.
Oh, it's
behind
a
the
classic.
scenes on the
That's how I
LCS.
feel when I have to ask
Wie gesagt, sind die das Item nicht fertig, weil er auf Sideline ist.
computer when it doesn't work. And they're just like, well, what's wrong with it? The files are in the computer. Yeah, it's tough. Whenever we have international events and I've got to get stuff together for going to other countries, it's a rough one. Right now, though, it looks like Shopify are having a very pleasant time controlling this bottom side river, wanting to set up for Dragon number 2. Remember the Sentinels
Sag das mal, gibt sie die aus.
have just shy of a 1,000 gold lead. Valk buffer there
Hat einen Brutalizer drin, muss sie die geben.
away from the
Wahrscheinlich 10 Ability ist oder sowas.
Despite the fact that Rahel hit him with it because he buffered through it with the Valkyrie, he still got enough distance, so he could just pop the cleanse and still stay relatively healthy. However, that does mean that
Keller Duell der LCS, das kommt als nächstes.
in this bottom side river, and that Sentinel's going for Dragon number 2.
Yeah, that opens up.
Sehr gut, dass sie da Position bekommen haben.
them to basically
Auch sehr gut, dass wir noch nichts von Toplane mitbekommen haben. Das bedeutet, Impact hat noch nicht komplett gefeedet. Sehr, 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 sehr gut.
And I thought they were doing a pretty good job of holding that space. Now they're going to move into the top side to try to get this Herald.
Yeah, it's looking like
Yeah.
maybe contest here. Hambach and Hui trying to clear out some of this vision. Impact is coming down as well, but I mean, Rahel is starting to base, so surely we don't fully test it?
It looks like if nothing else, they're trying to at least just stop them from taking it, allow it to reset. Hambach went in,
bluffed it.
did smite down the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't have vision on Rahel, so they didn't know that Rahel had based. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
could have actually taken that fight. But Rahel bases, they push them back, they get the Scuttle. Nicely done.
Yeah, and they are.
Whoa, B-Boy forced to flash away there as Hambach dives in with a Hound's Pursuit.
Interessant, dass sie nicht Ding benutzen, ne?
Onto the enemy 80 carry.
And another thing that
Nicht Panthenulti.
soft contest accomplished is that Victor was able to get a lot of damage on that bot side turret as well and force Fudge to kind of respond to that bot side push. So really nice.
Ich würde keinerlei Fokus auf Botside stellen als Sentinels. Herald ist so wichtig hier.
around the fact that Shopify could
Herald ist so wichtig.
Hell had backed.
Yeah, very
Wenn der Midland Turret fällt,
from them.
ist das Game super schwierig für B-Boy zu spielen.
To where B-Boy is, so not
Vor allem momentan ohne Flash.
big advantage. Darkwings, though, has created a pretty nice lead for himself. And, you know, Hui is actually up quite a bit of gold. And with Enchanters, it is relevant, especially an Enchanter like Seraphine that scales really, really well. Already has...
Sag mal, AD Kill zum First Time nach dem Game. Misfortune? Guys, Meinungen?
Like Seraphine that scale so well at 2+ items.
AD Carry zum First Time. MF?
Because there's so much sustain, so much CC that can actually come out from...
Wieso bei Pantheon ist nicht? Auf Pantheon ist auf Bruiser Items besser.
Summons up the Ornhorn, finds the point blank knock up there.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut, sehr gut, sehr gut Impact. Nicht den Kill nehmen, nicht den Kill nehmen, abgeben.
Arrives, Zinni dies, Impact's the one who takes the kill.
Yeah, nice
Asher MF hätte ich gesagt.
from Darkwings and Impact there using
Wahrscheinlich MF, ja.
to kill off Zinni in the side lanes, and it's kind of interesting.
MF Double Tap First Time gerade, das stimmt, ja.
Going to be able to get a bunch of damage
Ash ist ein okay Call, ja.
He continues to be kind of the bright spot. We'll see if
Killt er den?
Shopify are going to
Blumen, danke für den 23. Dankeschön. Nope,
well.
nicht.
Contracts finds a nice chunk of damage there on his
Hat der Ulti? Hambach hat Ulti nicht ab.
with about the same
Oh.
amount of force. Hambach moving towards this top side. The wave is about to crash into the turret, and that's a defensive
Ja, dieses Game ist over.
contracts to
Die sind zu schlecht, Shopify.
Exactly, I think it's absolutely the right choice. When you have no Aegis Assault, there's no way...
Also richtige Entscheidung rauszuhalten, ja, aber...
Hound's Pursuit coming in. So good bit of pressure put there onto Contracts. And it is going to mean the Herald is started up. They're TPing back, though. Zinni's here as is Fudge.
Yeah, so Zinni's making
Nicht flashen.
on the Darkwings here in the top side. Fudge with the wraparound means that Darkwings has nowhere to go.
Es ist so rage
Not gonna
spät.
lie, I hate
Wo willst du hin da, Nojak? Wo willst du da hin? Es ist so rage spät.
Yeah, maybe it's a flash to try to get the turret,
But he didn't even try to auto-attack the Fury. He was trying to run away.
I'm trying to give him the
Vivo hat kein Flash. Und die haben kein Mikael. Schöner Collapse. Hambak? Alter. Ich werde gerage-baitet die ganze Zeit. Ich werde hier die ganze Zeit gerage-baitet. Nur Rachel.
Shopify lucky to get Contracts and B-Boy both out of there.
Digga, ich werde nur gerage-baitet.
You see, they're gonna kind of try TP Impact up there to contest that. But again, like that initial soft contest from Herald, like way back, is what allowed Sentinels to kind of come in and get the Herald here as well. So even though they do lose Darkwings, being able to immediately pop that, clear up the mid turret, is really nice from them. Even with everything they hit though, I was kind of surprised at how difficult it was to get onto B-Boy, right? And Contracts blocking so much damage with that Aegis Assault was also a huge part of that.
Yeah, and Fudge has just been perma side laning, right? He got the first tower on bot side, got basically all the plates there.
Okay, Fnatic hat nicht geantwortet. Schade. Also wenn ihr euch in Zukunft über das Aussehen von Leuten lustig macht, dann könnt ihr direkt ein Bild von euch selbst posten. Dann werde ich euch hässlich nennen. Egal, ob ihr der schönste Mensch der Welt seid, ich werde euch hässlich nennen. Und dann werde ich euch mindestens eine Woche timeouten, je nachdem, welcher Mut ich bin.
If you don't know where Nefiri is, it is really scary, because ahead gold or not, Impact can set up for these ganks very, very easily. And Impact is still going to be able to fulfill his role on the...
Kannst du mir auch so hässlich nennen? Du bist ein schöner Mensch.
Or up 2K, you can still press R, and you can still be very effective in the team fights. I mean, he has...
Um was ging's hat gesagt, dass Emily aussieht wie 70. Habe ich gesagt, er soll sich ein Bild von sich zeigen. Hat er nicht geantwortet. Nuttensohn. Hallo Moritz. Das ist eine schöne Seraphine-Ulti. Das ist ein schönes Cleanse. Oh, die Seraphine-Ulti knallt. Achso, Deathmatch. Also. Nee, nicht das Team. Nicht das Team. Das Team hat mir nichts getan. Außer, dass sie nicht Playoffs geschafft haben. Das Team hat mir nichts getan, außer Playoffs nicht schaffen. Ey. Können wir um Rachel spielen? Out-Sustain. Nächste Seraphine W spielen, bitte.
Shopify still looking for an angle. There comes your Weaver's wall, but the only person who gets isolated is Impact, who immediately breaks the wall open. There's not even really any threat on it. Hombox waiting over the wall.
Super. Sehr gut. Darkwings. Ist fein. Rachel hittet noch. Hambak Ulti Reset. Super. Hambak, warum gehst du nicht auf Quatsch? Es ist okay. Weiter für Rachel spielen, der ist aber Schwierig. Schwierig. Oh Gott.
Impact's got to be careful here. Does charge away, keeps himself safe. He's alive for now.
Okay.
2 for 2. And Sentinels
Ruhe bewahren.
player and they get the dragon.
Super.
Impact steps away from the side.
Macht die Szene eigentlich overall nicht sehr gut.
A lot of gold there. He got 2 kills off the back of that. And the fact that they got the dragon, they're going to be really, really happy about how that went down. At the end of the day, you know, this is the punish for wasting your flash top lanes for Darkwing, because he does actually get caught here. As he walks forward, he is hit by the tidal wave, and the follow-up of that seismic shove, the hop forward from Contracts, but then Hombok gets into the backline, putting pressure down. Couldn't quite finish off Fudge, took them a little bit longer to do it. And then you just end up in this 3v3 situation, but Sentinels have already claimed the dragon, so going to be really happy about that. They are now very close to getting an Ocean.
Man kann Telewa einschlagen, ja, mit Orne. Orne zerstört Terra. Javan Ulti. Anivia Wall. Alia Wall.
Orn upgrades ready. He already used one on the Cyclo Sword. He has another ready to go.
Yeah, and not only that, but on top of having Seraphine here, also the Nefiri being able to get into the backline and then back out. So yeah, it really puts so much pressure on Shopify, who again were
mit dem neuen Toplaner, ja.
early
Gehe ich davon aus, ja.
To kind of control the side lanes. And even though Fudge has been doing a good job there, they haven't really been able to make as many plays as I think they would have wanted, despite his lead.
Warum sehen wir keinen einzigen Player Panther Catch auf Sideline? Well, das ist zu hohes Vokabular. Guck mal, ich kann auch einfach Mitte catchen. Hat er besser nicht mehr so hohe Prime? Nein, man kann alle Upgrades machen ab Level 14. Level 13 eigenes Item-Upgrade, Level 14 erstes Item-Upgrade für die Teammates.
They need to wait for Darkwing, so he is very far away still.
Yeah, Impact charges forward. B-Boy's gonna get caught. Shane CC down onto the Corki, but Rahel's not DPSing. B-Boy flashes away, stays alive for now, but that should be more than enough to stop this Baron attempt.
Honestly, well done from Sentinels. That was a 3v5 that they actually contested with. Darkwings wasn't a part of that at all, and they get the flash off of B-Boy. They push them back, and they're considering, do we want to try to stay around in the area with our jungler coming back up?
Okay, Zenny, however, throws out the Weaver's Wall. Impact is the one caught. Nice moves from Shopify. Picking up another one for free, or is it? Nope, Contract staying alive. Accelerated Shock Blast misses. Sentinels still trying to contest now. It's still a 4v5 because now the Neferi is back out on the map. Hambach has respawned. Zenny getting chased down here by Darkwings and Huhi.
Zenny erstirbt, das ist horrible.
Yeah, does throw down that gravity field. And Zenny forced to flash.
They could start Baron if they wanted. It would be a little bit risky.
Die sollten nicht in der starten. All eyes on Drake.
There were some all-in pings.
All eyes on Drake, bitte.
Sentinels. But clearly the team not fully aligned on that because it was only Hambach going over to the pit.
Yeah.
He obviously thought they had an angle to start it. Other people didn't agree, so they do not decide to risk it.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense. They should just be able, I mean, Hambach will pick up this Scuttle Crab. There, I think you did finally see as the TP comes in from...
Aber im Platz Sentinel ist gerade tight für 6. Zusammen mit Shopify.
The Pantheon combo working in tandem as well to burn down Hambach really quickly. And then credit to Sentinels for that contest to stop Shopify from taking the Baron.
I mean, it was just a really nice pick.
Geht Hex Optics fördert wieder, ich verstehe es nicht. Es geht nicht in meinen Kopf rein.
As soon as that was used, Contracts is like, well, you're dead. Like I flash stun you.
Das geht nicht in meinen Kopf rein.
You don't have the ability to get out after. And as Flowers had called out, insult to injury, you use the flash in a play where you're going to die regardless.
Yep.
And that is definitely a cost. So Shopify still in with a chance. They're up a couple hundred gold here, but that is lying to you a bit because there's 3
Kalista Ash, ja. Ja, aber Hex Optik einfach als First Item besser als Kraken auf Ash. Hex Optics PD ist, glaube ich, mein Favorite Build auf Ash. Weil Kraken und Hex ist mir besser. Ich mag Hex Optics into PD persönlich am meisten. Kann er noch nicht so nonst, nein.
For this Ocean Soul, B-Boy evading the attempted engage coming out there from Sentinels. Staying alive here, staying healthy on the Corki. Very, very important.
Alter, Hambach, bitte. Gut eingeflasht. Glänzt noch besser. Seraphe. Oh, er bekommt ihn. Sick. Und Rachel ist untouched. GG. GG. Sick, dass die Beaver noch bekommen haben. Hambach hat eine Ulti-Reset.
Trying to get away here with the teleport. Impact wanted to get the point-blank headbutt to knock him up and interrupt that, but it's not going to work. Fudge thinking about maybe trying to snipe a dragon, but it will not work out. Sentinels take 2 kills and the Ocean Soul.
Man gehen wir heute in die Falle. Boah, kann schon sein, dass Dignitas auch 2-0 gewinnt. Kann sein. Also ich denke, also das hier ist 2-0, 2:30 Uhr spätestens. Ja, halb 3 spätestens.
Guess what? Hambach is going to go in on the Neferi. The charm hits onto B-Boy with the follow-up from Ornn. And as soon as B-Boy goes down, they're right onto Contracts. And this is also Impact's frontlining is so good and why we were kind of like, okay, he hasn't played these champions like the Ornn, like the Cassante to make room for your team. You saw it right there in how he was able to combo with the Seraphine and also immediately then turn on to Contracts.
I just love the aggression there from Sentinels because B-Boy was positioning very cocky. There's Mikhail's and he had Cleanse, but he didn't have Flash, right? So yes, he can cleanse something. The Ash Arrow missed and they're still saying, you're too far forward. Without Flash, it doesn't actually matter if you have Cleanse. The ult Flash from Hui forces the Cleanse, but the Ornn ult is perfectly layered, so he's instantly knocked back up. And Darkwings over the wall is hitting him, you know, flashing away from the Jace to get more damage down. Impact instantly flashed in to follow up to know, hey, he can't create space. He's already used the Valk, and we can kill him from this spot. And that was just a great play, getting them the Ocean Soul. And doesn't matter how ahead Fudge is at this point, you are not killing that Ocean Soul Ornn anytime soon.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you can completely mag dump the guy, do 66% of his health in a full, like, both forms trade, And by the time the next wave gets here, guess what? Well, he's full HP. Like, have fun. This is not going to be an enjoyable experience. You mentioned the ornaments earlier, Isaac. The Voltaic Cyclo Sword that was already upgraded. Now you've got the Kraken Slayer upgraded on Rahel. Impact, I believe with level 16, he's got more that he could also hand out the next
time. He could upgrade everyone.
Yeah, everybody should be fully upgraded. I was like, I don't play Ornn myself, so I'm pretty sure.
It's 13 you get Ornament, and then 14, 15, 16, so he should have another one available.
Okay.
Gerade gehe ich auf Huhi. Ich meine, an sich ist die Idee nicht mal schlecht. Ist auch tot. Oh, Hamburg ist da. Boah, die haben kein Damage. Was?
But even though Shopify win the fight, they get the one.
The fuck?
They're hurt enough in response, they can't take anything else off the map.
Yeah, not going to be able to get anything else. They do lose some summoners. They do get Rahel's Flash and Cleanse, which is big, but they lost Zinni's Flash, they lost Contract's Flash, they lost the heal off of Seos. But, you know, maybe you can be able to pick off Rahel without any of those summoners, and that could be pretty big. Rahel flashed a Shock Blast that just deleted Huhi, and was Huhi's first death of the game here. But the Seraphine, you know, now has the Mikhails available. There's really not a lot of CC. It's basically your Mikhailsing, really, I guess, just the Pantheon stun. That's
Aqua Prison, maybe?
Aqua Prison, but then it's a knock-up, right? So it wouldn't even get you.
But it makes it so you can flash.
You can flash, yeah.
So it's a half. Okay,
Yeah.
so
If you have Flash available, then it's worth doing the knockups.
Yeah, it's 1.5 things you could possibly cleanse. Meanwhile, Contracts now under pressure here as Hambach and Impact go for the invade. The rest of Sentinels trying to destroy.
Hamburg lebt. Ist gut. Ulti Reset auch drauf. Gibt halt Vision. Wird ein Nash spielen. Einfach Nash. Wie viel Prozent verstärkt on die Waffen? Das sind 1000 Gold flat. Also prozentual, keine Ahnung, aber es sind 1000 Gold. Eine Boots-Upgrade auf Cocky muss in sein. Well, ich meine, welche Boots upgradest du, weißt du? Habis? Kannst Habis gehen. Ansonsten nicht so viel Value.
Because otherwise you're probably just going to get wiped.
Yeah, I mean, there's Call of the Forge God and Encore. You know, there's Flashback available for the Seraphine. If you go over there, you probably are just going to get turned on and killed, and it's such a low percentage play. So instead, they take out the tier 1 mid, they take down the tier 2 bot, so they're just trying to get some gold for themselves. And usually when you fall into this kind of a game where you've lost Soul, you've lost Baron, you're saying, all right, let's stall, let's pray we can steal Elder, and if you can get Elder, the game can be equalized.
Yeah.
That is the Hail Mary. That's usually your best chance. From a spot like this, and Impact now is 17 and has used his final 2 upgrades there, so upgraded.
Habe ich so das 50? Ja. Aber er hat wahrscheinlich einfach mehr Value von vollen Items, richtig. Hat mein Victor nicht Leandris? Lass den mal machen. Fragen nicht. Ist der Online jetzt quasi Gold-even, ne? Well, nee, er ist immer noch 2000 Gold down. Also ein Item ist 1000 Gold. Right, und er hat ja nur ein Item geupgradet bekommen. Also er bekommt ja selbst eins, also jetzt in dem Fall sein anonymes Spell und upgradet dann für sein Team jeweils pro Person eins. Also du siehst ja, die sind full upgradet jetzt. Das heißt, die sind 1000 Gold ahead, aber rein item-technisch sind die dann 6000 Gold ahead jetzt. Rein Gold-Value-technisch. Plus natürlich nochmal die Ocean Soul und so knallt ja nochmal mehr rein. Lol, die Talia-Ulti war gut. Hambach bekommt den Ulti-Reset. Geht auf Seos. Sehr schöne Presence of Mind da, nicht für den Pantheon zu gehen. Mit den Boots upgraden wäre sehr OP, ja. 100%. GG.
Now you see how difficult it is to kill that Ornn. They weren't even able to take Impact.
Aber nur bei sich upgraden könnte. Nee. Ich glaube, so ist besser sogar. GG. Sehr solid. GG.